Here's how we're going to get rid of the fear part. Okay.
Well, it's just a little anxious of the unknown, but
I am too. This is
your baby.
this is my fourth pod, and I like to do stuff well. So are you Dave Vodak, and is it Dr. Dave Vodak?
I do have a PhD in material science, but it's fake with a PH.
What do you mean? That makes you're a doctor though, right?
Yeah, doctor of philosophy.
Dr. Dave. It's going to take me a while to remind myself to refer to you as Dr. Dave. So what I want to do is find out where you and I share space, the general concept of this. Yeah, I can edit you, but you want to come in and make a guest appearance? Look, what do you think about do you like his mic?
It doesn't fit the way I'm
It's a demon thing. It's a devil thing. He's sending subliminal. Would you help him with his mic? See,
doesn't.
this is Jen's me. Hey, Jen, did you know that Dave wants to be called doctor when you
turn this?
when you have it?
See, I'm afraid to try those things because I usually break it.
I break a lot.
Did you know that he's a doctor like Tyler? You got a doctorate,
I think
In
he's
science.
a little bit
but he's a doctor. You can call him Dr. Dave.
Dr. Dave.
No.
Dr. Dave works a lot.
And
Dr. Tyler
what's
is pretty good.
your degree is in,
Material.
which is look,
No,
What does that mean?
it basically means you make new materials for a given purpose, like to do some job or some act.
If
And
you
then
can make
you-
new wood,
You could make new wood. You could make. I worked on.
genetically modified wood.
That's starting to be a little more. Most material science is more towards like industrial applications, like
But that-
solar energy. Like my PhD was in metal organic frameworks. Which
that's nothing to do with what you're doing, is it?
no, I got out.
We're going to stop this at the wrong person. I found it.
I'm sorry.
Just joking.
Well, I spent my whole career academically making crystals
Yeah.
and characterizing it, and then when I got to Bend Research, crystals were the enemy. How do you not make crystal?
Well, I just thought it was more specific. What you're figuring out a way to transport stuff through the body, right?
That's what I do now. Yeah.
And
Not
which is
making steel.
Well, now I'm in the material sciences. I'm making
Well, why didn't
formulations
you-
of drug and then
Mm.
testing how they would behave in the body.
And
why are you
he's talking to you so you can be anything.
why are you wearing that lab coat, acting like you're splitting cells and shit? If you're
That's the safety protocol in the lab. That's like what you have to do.
that's your degree.
I mean, material
Most of the-
science can go across.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I don't have a pharmaceutics degree.
that's
I
what
learned it.
it took me a long time to ask that question.
That's a big deal.
You're at the top of the heap in your business, and you learned that job on the go.
Mhm.
Holy shit!
Not a lot of square.
It's a
So you're just smart. So if you'd have if you'd have came,
Yeah.
if you'd have came
it's
to
about
work,
time somebody fucking realized it.
if you came to work here, you'd have my job. You without a degree, you wouldn't have a cabinet degree.
I think what I would say is I'm smart at things I enjoy, and I enjoy solving scientific problems.
That's right. That's
I
why you got here.
find
That's
it-
what we're
I
doing.
find it tedious and business stuff is not as fun.
Yeah, doing stuff with cool people's fun.
That is, especially if you're
Yeah.
solving problems that can improve people's lives.
I just came here because you didn't give Alex a list.
Thanks, Jen. That'll be edited out.
41.
41.
That's the list.
So trying to find what I would like to do is find a way into the conversation.
Yeah. We do it at lunch, like
yeah.
once a
get
week,
on.
once every other week.
And so number one, I don't want you to,
want some water?
no thanks. I don't want to manufacture something that
I never do that.
we're interested in.
Yeah.
And I would like to find some common ground. So first of all, one of the foundational things about my philosophy is being voluntary.
Yeah.
I don't think we can mandate. I mean, you build more prisons and you can make more laws. I don't think that's a good way forward. I think that if you say, let's say a good life's better than a shitty life.
People would want that.
Okay. So everyone can agree with that. So you can argue with my
Most.
version of a good
There's a lot
life.
of, lot of different types out there.
Okay. And those people, I would argue, were raised wrong. So
it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Well, if this all works and we get this set in motion, the next generation will be raised in an environment that supports the success of the individual so that you won't have people misbehaving. That behaving gets you to a good life better than misbehaving. So people are misbehaving because you're incentivizing it. I'm going to rob a bank because there's money in it and I'll buy a new car.
Yeah.
Okay. They're not going, I'm going to rob a bank or, you're going to misbehave.
Yeah. I'm not doing it just for like Point Break. I'm not like some surfer gang that's just out there, like, yeah, bro, like it's the rush. You know, they're doing it to get the car.
So if, let's say,
I feel like you're laughing at that. And Point Break is a classic.
It is classic.
Yeah. Okay.
So if we
ground again, I hate to keep coming back to it, but it's common ground again.
Yeah. If we say because for some reason, our species is having trouble finding a way forward that we can all buy into. Like, I think most animal, if you were at a beehive, you don't have one guy going rogue on you. It's like, I'm not doing this.
Well, if he does, he dies.
Yeah.
Bees have it ingrained in their nature that they have to cooperate to survive.
So do monarch butterflies.
So do primates.
Yeah. So there's a way to be a monkey. There's not a way to be a human being because we've fragmented and we've invented stuff. And it seems to me like what nature's done over billions of years, if you come back to that, makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Nature's been doing it, testing it on bees now.
Yeah.
And you're right. If a bee goes rogue, he's out. Right. So let's just say we come back and look at the way things have functioned for a long time.
Okay.
Would you say that's foundational, other than our species?
I do think it's foundational, but I think it's also interesting to look at how our species has advanced over the last 2,000 years, where you can see a written record.
Right. So
maybe compare.
What do you think about a way to share space where someone volunteers to come in and is incentivized because their life is better there than it is outside of it? Is that possible?
That's the dream.
Yeah. Do you think it's possible?
You can find examples of it right now.
Yeah. So
I think not the majority.
Right. Because we got off track. So that's the whole gist of the book. But I'm just starting from a place where, because what I think should happen is the idea of debate. Like, you're going to debate your side and I'm going to debate my side. That's what's going on a lot. I don't know if you watch podcasts and people debating all the time.
Yeah.
That's what. So to me, you're not mutually searching the truth. What you're doing is you have a side, I have a side, and you're trying to prove that you're a better arguer than I am. So there's people that are good debaters out there, and I wouldn't necessarily at debating.
Masturbators?
Yeah. Good at.
Why don't we just do arm wrestle?
Because I think that's a waste of.
That's a waste.
That you and I, if what my theory is, the world's waiting for me and you to come up with some cool shit and get it going.
Okay.
And while we're screwing around, there's people dying.
Yeah.
All over the place, and people fighting and debating.
And I think this is a good spot because I think you come in this from
being
the Big Bang, the universe, this entropy.
Yeah.
It's just rolling and expanding. And I look at that a little bit and I go, okay, I like that. But some of the stuff you say to me hits me more, which is more of like a building it out from internal.
Yeah.
And maybe they're not so different, but I feel like there's a little subtle is like, I think that like you've done with tennis is you've found like a critical nucleus size of like-minded people that have a common goal.
Right.
And once you start building that, it becomes attractive to other people to share those ideals and those principles and values. That's what we've had those conversations before. So versus it being, back on track with some natural thing, I just think it doesn't have to be something that's contrived by the universe. It's just forward progress towards a common ideal. And that's where strength is. And you can get shit done.
Right. And so, but all I'm doing with the tennis is recognizing where people can show up around an idea as themselves. So all of the people that are playing tennis, they come in with wherever they are with tennis. I'm at this place, you're at that place. The subject is still tennis, but there's something is innate. And with me playing tennis and you playing tennis, that brings us together.
Yeah, I get that. I think the subtle thing I'm saying is you have all those ingredients, me and Rob and Dustin and you and Bergstrom. You take all those great people that we hang out with every week, and they all now we can look and say, yeah, we have a lot of things in common about our principles and values, but that group doesn't exist if you don't lead it. If you don't start that first to build that and say, hey, look what we have here. I'm going to build activities, and I'm going to make it easy for all these people from busy to not busy, from this background to that background. I'm going to make it easy for us to get together and focus on this common ideal.
Okay.
That's leadership. And if we don't have that, the universe isn't going to lead people. It's just going to be this passive, push to expand and grow. And so as that's happening, I think that's something that needs to be brought up a little bit, is this leadership piece of somebody saying, I recognize the benefit of these values aligning and getting some impact and firepower of more like-minded individuals and growing that nucleus to a bigger impact. But that can't happen, I think, unless someone leads it. Okay. Someone takes the initiative to say, yeah, we're doing this.
I agree 100%. And so there's a leadership void. And the reason there is because we're incentivizing the wrong things. So what I'm suggesting is we incentivize the right things.
Yep.
And the ability to incentivize the right things would be the same thing as if I was a bee and I just went into a beehive and I jotted down all of the things that work. Because if you're a bee, it works because you're a bee and you share being a bee with all the other bees. I'm going to go start a hive someplace else. But I'm going to use the framework of what brings all these bees together, what works, what doesn't work, not making up I know, let's do this. Let's do Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah. I believe I'm 100% behind you on that.
So if we don't make shit up, right, because we make a whole bunch of stuff up. If we go back and just don't make anything up yet, let's just go back to what we know works for everybody and start there. And then instead of making stuff up, we construct the place in front of us that we want to be in that includes all of those things that a bee that brings the beehive together and doesn't push the beehive apart.
Yep.
You buy into that.
I do, with some, I think.
Better be good.
I don't know if it's good, but the questions I have with that are, that bee has a vision. That bee is a leader if it's doing that and it sees a reason to go off and do its own thing. It's driven by not instinct or the DNA. It's driven by the reward incentive, like you talked about. So I think the issue that we're talking about here, and that goes into your book quite a bit, is there's a lot of instinctive examples, like animals doing this. And I think that's a hard one. That's a hard bridge for me to cross over all the time in this, because I think that's an important thing that comes into this, is the thought process, the ability to make stuff up and lie and invent and imagine things that don't exist. And I like what you say about Republicans, Democrats, Protestants, Catholics, Muslims, all those are, to me, down a tier, but those are, someone had leadership and said, hey, I'm going to make a myth based on this that has these principles and values, and other people are going to line up under it.
Okay.
Because they find things they can grab onto.
Yeah.
And that, I think what we're talking about is, I don't care if you're any of those things. We want to live better lives. We want money to not be the incentive. We want hell, not going to hell, to not be the incentive. We just want to make the world a better place, and we want to feel valuable, and we want to feel like we matter and we're contributing towards this goal that we believe in.
Yeah.
And I think you have to have that leadership.
Okay. So let's just say, let's go with that. Let's say pretend I wanted to be a good leader and I go, that's what I want to do. I want to unite everybody under one umbrella.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay. So the way that I would do it would be starting out from what is innate? What am I born with? Because if I do something against my instincts, it's going to be difficult for me as the human animal to participate in something that goes against my instinct and my long-term well-being. If I can, as a leader, discover. So what I'm saying is I just go back and I look at before, and we were, versions of our species have been on the planet for a long time. And there's some things about that gave us the ability to last over time. And then it appears that we've, with consciousness, gave ourselves the ability to make shit up. And when we did that, if I make something up, it's going to be hard for you to fully invest in my made up stuff. You can't get there because it's made up.
Yeah.
So you can get some version of my made up story, but it's going to start fragmenting as soon as you start adding more people.
Right.
So what if I didn't make stuff up? But I just said, whatever I say, I'm going to make sure that there's a way for you to get on board with it as it is. So I'm in the same way you're in, right?
Yeah.
And I don't need to convince you of anything. I don't want to use debate. I don't want to use bullshit. There's no need. All I'm going to do is I'm going to continue laying it out and understanding it. And you and I will push it around until we can go, yeah, I'm good with that. I'm there for that reason. It is what it is. It's shareable. It's knowable. And we can duplicate it with anybody and everybody, regardless of the language, culture, or anything else.
Right.
So we start out with that common ground place. And it's easy for me to say, well, the pursuit of excellence, it makes sense to me. That's transferable. It seems like that pursuit is innate in our species. It seems like I watch people and everyone responds the same way around that concept.
Yeah.
So is it for a starting place where you and I can agree and build off of that, is to say we need to strip it. So we get rid of, I'm kind of a liberal kind of guy. I have liberal tendencies. I don't think I'm one way or the other, but I'm not going to ask you to share my political philosophy, right? Because you might not be able to get there, and that's a fabrication of our society. Our society has done that to organize people.
You're lining yourself up with a category that exists that you feel like is closest to in line of where you want to head.
Well, I think that instead of trying to do the politics thing, I think politics divides us, and I would avoid anything that divides us. It leaves people out. If I'm over here and you're over there, and I don't think there's any value in it. I think that we're better off when we are inclusive, and when a good day for me is when you're having a good day.
Yeah,
that makes sense to me.
I think that's a fundamental issue with our biology and our coding, is if you follow that we came from apes, and you look at societies of apes today, they cannot exist in groups, communities bigger than 100 to 150 individuals. Right. Once that happens, they start fighting, schisms, breaking out, the whole thing sort of has to break apart and divide, or it doesn't survive.
Right.
We have pushed that because we're able to make something up that other people can get behind and follow, right? And say, like, I believe that when I die, I'm going to go to this magical place called heaven if I live a good life. And that's your incentive, that you get this reward. It has a bunch of negative things. If you look at that, if I live a good life, I get an incentive of eternal life in paradise. But what that does is it sets up two sides. There's a good life and a bad life.
Yeah.
And now what are the continuum, the gradations of all of that. So I think you're right to be pursuing what's a fundamental truth, but you also have to consider what you're not including.
So,
like if you're going to define good, is bad just one minus good, or is
so there's where I think humanity is stuck. So the only reason that there's this conversation is happening is that I look at it and I go, we're self-destructing. We do not know how to get to the future, and our species is degrading, and we're taking a whole bunch of stuff with us. And politics has been around for a while, and that's a lever that we pull, and we're getting worse at it. The religions have been going at it since we first saw lightning.
Yeah.
So that hasn't sorted it out, and we're getting worse, we're not getting better. The things that ail us, the things that we're not doing well because we're larger than 150 people, are showing up regularly every day, and in a very destructive way, and we're moving in the wrong direction. And now we have tools like CRISPR and the ability to make biomes that are going to kill people, and
trees that don't do certain things, make fruit that don't have seeds.
We have tools of destruction that are going, unless we learn how to behave, we're going to destroy ourselves.
We have tools. Tools don't destroy or create. A tool, by definition, is something someone uses to do something.
Right. But if you look at the hijackers that flew planes into buildings, now we have access to things that can do a great deal more damage than that.
Yes. The tools are more effective.
Yeah.
For good, but also by definition.
Yeah.
For whatever anybody can imagine to do with the tool.
So my proposal is our species was going for a long time, and then the lights came on as consciousness. Consciousness was itself also basically a software upgrade to the animal that we was. And there's animals like octopus and dolphins that are getting smarter and better using their senses in their brains. And I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but there was a software upgrade before the capacity to understand it well enough to use it well.
That's common ground.
So
I agree with that.
We're in this adolescence of the consciousness upgrade, and we need to get on the other side of it before we destroy ourselves. So I would suggest the other side of it is consciousness is what we needed to have groups larger than 150. And so if we just back up and just go, okay, the lights came on, we're struggling, we've got a bunch of bad data, we're not incentivized the right things, we're not doing a good job of being human beings. Then science came along and sorted a whole bunch of stuff out and gave us a whole bunch of tools to understand where we came from and where we can get to before we destroy ourselves.
Yep.
So that's you and I right here, right now, saying, where did we come from? What is where we need to be before we destroy ourselves? And where we came from is going back to gathering up all of the things that says whatever 150 apes can do before it implodes, there's something that holds it together that all 150 of them are there for.
Yep.
Right? They're not waking up in the morning just randomly killing each other. Right. So there's something that's the same thing with a beehive.
And there's some data on that. That at that magic 100 number, let's just say, everybody can know everybody.
Right.
Everybody can get into a state where you've had more than just, hey, how are you? And you feel connected. If you're sitting there, like, here's a perfect example of people. You're sitting in traffic and you're furious because you don't want to be there. And the person around you, you're like, I hate you. I hate you. I hate all of you. But if you sit there long enough and people start getting out of their cars and they start interacting, you just made 10 new friends around you that you're like, oh, that's the guy from traffic. And so there's an interesting thing that happens is, like, in that environment, there is a limit to the number of people where you can interact with and feel like, yeah, I know that person. I've looked them in the eye. I've talked to them. I've worked with them. I've shared space with them, and that ups it. Now, when you get up to thousands, there's always going to be, I don't know you. And so you're not part of what I know. You're against me.
It sounds like, but just backing up a little bit, it sounds like you probably shouldn't get in your car in the morning when you're mad and drive around because you're going to hurt somebody. That's a different.
Yeah. I think that's a different podcast. We'll just, can we park in lot that? Yeah. Yeah. I think that's probably fair. And I've been on edge too because my golf game's not going well. So it's.
Sounds like a separate thing of me and you working on your anger.
Yeah, we'll deal with that in a follow-on episode, I think. And I think that'll be equally important for people to hear.
Yeah.
No, in seriousness, one thing I did want to say to that is,
so to start with some place that where it's foundational that we can all agree on, because what the problem is we start with, I'm a Democrat, you're a Republican. So we're starting fighting already.
Yep.
And we have a tendency, everyone in their tribe, in their areas and growing up, gather up a whole bunch of things that separate them from everybody else. So my thought is what we need to do is don't put anything in this little pool. What we're going to do is we're going to start out with, what do you think about, I have a better day when you have a better day. So it's easy for me to go, I want you to win.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, in real terms, my life, it really is better when you show up better. So it takes away that. So we have a tendency to, with capitalists and owning businesses, we're greedy. There needs to be a winner, which means there needs to be losers, right? We start out that way. Republicans, Democrats.
Yeah, same thing. It's
all of it.
Same thing we were talking about. If this is good, there has to be bad.
Yeah. So before we bring anything, we should vet it for whether or not it passes that test. Is it good for you? Is it good for me? If it's not, then you play with those things at home. And I'm not here to take anything away from you. You can be Jewish, Muslim, and Christian, all three of those things when you're at home or you're whatever you want to do. But let's make a space where I'm not going to judge you, but you're also not going to weigh the conversation through those filters. We're going to have a conversation outside of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because as soon as I say, you can't be a Christian if you want to join this conversation, I just left you out.
Okay.
So you can be whatever you want to be, but this particular conversation is not a place where you're going to sort through those things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're not going to be Republicans, Democrats. So what would it look like? Well, number one, we both play tennis, right? I think that we should take care of ourselves physically. I think we should take care of our bodies. Let's eat right. Let's support each other's success there. So I can start stacking up a whole bunch of things that's not going to leave you out.
Yeah.
And then anything that you say, that you stop and you say, I need you to vote this way, you just go take that, go home and play with those toys at home. And because I think what's going to happen is we're going to find out fairly quickly that you really aren't a Republican or a Democrat.
Yeah.
And you're going to play with those toys less and less and play over here with these new toys more and more.
I like that.
That's what.
And I because one thing when you're talking about that stuff that jumps out. So I have a couple points. Because you say something interesting and then you say two more interesting things. So I got to catch up.
Sorry.
So the first thing is when you're talking about like, if I have a good, I have a good day, if you have a good day. And I think that generally is true, but I like that you establish levels for it, because I think a level below that, I think part of the pursuit of excellence is competition. By the nature of it is a winner and a loser.
Right.
If you're not continually competing, you're never going to push that envelope of what you can do. And that's across the board, right? So we still have to have that in our society if we're going to push for excellence, is competitiveness and striving to get better. And the only way to do that is to practice against each other, play against each other. And you could track this all the way into like college football or NFL team, like where you're just watching, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm a Raiders fan, like that. There is a little bit of that silliness into it. So I like that you establish levels. Like I can go be that over here, but in this space, I'm above that. And I'm thinking bigger.
But do you think we can have winners and losers without being diminished? So we can go play tennis together. One of us is going to win, one of us is going to lose, but you're not diminished. You didn't lose anything of yourself, of your character, of your being a human being. Whereas if in business, if you go out of business, there's real loss there without being diminished as a human being. So,
but you are being diminished unless, and this is what I mean by it, our ego is tied up in the things that we strive for excellence with.
yeah,
And that's an important thing to call out, right? Like you and I are pretty good at this of like saying, we love playing tennis. I wouldn't define myself as the only thing I do is play tennis. So if I lose to you, I can look at that and be like, oh, there's an opportunity to get better at tennis. It doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It doesn't mean, but
right.
I think that's something that needs to be fleshed out with people.
Yes.
Which I like how you did it by establishing levels. Like there's your day to day, how you're doing stuff. But when you want to, really think about what you're doing in this world and how you're going to feel successful at the end of the life, that's a different level. That's a big picture. Here's what I'm trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Next week, I want to beat Dustin at tennis. That's down here. And I don't attach my ego or what I'm trying to do with it.
Right.
Or are you saying no egos?
No, I want to, number one, we're not going to stop being human. There's just too many years of us. We're not going to be a bee tomorrow and have whatever incentivize a bee, whatever a bee sees when it looks at something, we will not.
Yeah.
We will experience life as a human being. So you will be hungry, you will have desire, you will have sadness. It's innate.
All at different times.
Yeah. So what we should do, so you have consciousness running. So that's consciousness. Intention to me is AI and being a robot. It's like, here's the hard, cold facts. Here's reality. So we will experience the world around us, which is reality, through the lens of being a human being, right? I say we do it well. I say, let's take this software upgrade that we've been given, overlay it as a human being, because I wouldn't want to wake up tomorrow as a robot because there's no experience there. So what I want to wake up tomorrow as is being really good at being a human being, right? And part of that is we're social animals. So I need other people in my life.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate. So how do I want them in my life? I want them to be amazing. If you're amazing and I get to be in your world, you're going to have a specific impact on how amazing my life is. And so I'm going to have more amazing people. Right. What if there wasn't any people that were losing? Because you're losing capacity when you have people in your world that aren't elevated to their best abilities. So what I'm saying is being intentional about what do we want tomorrow to look like? Well, we're human beings, we'll never escape that. And we're conscious. So we know when we're being a dipshit, there's a price you pay for it, right? The pursuit of excellence. If I have a good day on the tennis court, whether I have somebody across the court from me, I take the winning and losing, I carry it with me. So I played tennis bad and I want to know that I did. And I want to punish myself to whatever extent is a sensible way of doing it. So I pursue excellence. Excellence means there is a better place to be and I'm not there. So you're winning and losing all the time anyway.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I don't like the word punish in that. I like correct.
Okay.
Learn.
Okay. So
you live in a world of carrot or the stick. You want either to get something good, or in this scenario you're painting, like I get a carrot or I punish with the stick. And I just, like, my career in science has been more, you will not fail. No experiment is a failure unless you don't learn anything from it and change your behavior going forward.
So can we say that you have some agreement that foundationally you think that there's a way for us to share space that answers the question, what is a good life better than a shitty life? What is the best moment that I can have? And that would look very much like what your best moment would look like, even though you are original, you're distinct, you're unique. Me too. So there's no way I'm going to be you, and there's no way you're going to be me. And that's spectacular, but there is a
No
way.
offense.
There is a way that we can have the playground that we're playing on support a set of ideals that we can all throw in for that moves us in a direction of thriving.
Yeah, we can definitely settle on that. The thing I want to put into this, that tacking on, is I think you said something earlier that really got me going. Is we're each in our own individual realities, and now you're talking like we can't be the same. I can't know what it's like to be Travis. I kind of visualize this. So this is a little bit weird, so bear with me, but this is a little bit more like how you would think about the quantum universe. So picture every single individual has a bubble around them of their reality.
Yeah.
I can't step into your bubble. I can get as close as I can and try and look through it, but it's always going to be through my bubble. I can't escape the reality that I put all of my ego, all of my experience, all of my emotion, all of those things are part of this filter that I use to interact with the world. Right. So I think that's a really important point of saying, like, when people know, how does that bubble expand and contract in this model? Like, how does my reality become closer to yours? Is that a key piece? And if so, then communication is a fundamental thing. That I've done this because I've worked in really, I'm sure a lot of people have, so I'm not just saying I'm special of it, but when you work with other countries, like you work with the French or the Belgians or the British, even though they all speak English, we're not saying the same thing until it's really important to establish definitions, because I can come up to you one day and say, hey, Travis, here's this and this and this. And you're like, what I said through my filters is very different than what you heard through your filters. And then you say it back to me. And even though, like, it's almost crazy that we can communicate, because you have to be very, like, your filters have to be lined up. Otherwise you can get a completely different message.
But if you're doing with other countries and you're from America, you're right. You're always right.
That's not how they see it.
We're Americans.
Yeah, right. But you get my point. Like, I think
I'm on board.
I got to the point working with people that are Japanese speakers, people from Japan. And it took about 3 to 6 months for me to realize we need to write down every piece of communication we have, because we're not understanding each other if we're talking. You're saying yes, but then when we go off to do our things, you don't do what you said yes to. You do something else. And then I say, oh, maybe I didn't ask it right. So I think it's just really important when you're talking about, especially these philosophical things that have nebulous definitions.
You think a reminder every single morning when I go out to the Spanish speakers in the back shop there, that I'm reminded of what you're saying, and they're all going,
yeah, exactly.
Okay, we're done. Dave, thank you. Good job.
That's it? Huh?
Well, listen.
I felt like you were still setting it up.
Was that good?
I can't tell if it was any good.
We find out. I think it was.